Professor S.P. Singh, LIS academicians, fellow professionals, and all the participants, a very good afternoon to you all. I, Professor Preeti Mahajan, on behalf of the Department of Library Information Science, Punjab University, Chandigarh, and on my own behalf, welcome you all in the 14th webinar, which is a part of the webinar series being hosted by the department on the theme Information Generation, Dissemination, and Use during COVID-19 lockdown. The theme of the webinar series was selected in order to enhance the professional knowledge through dissemination of information on cutting-edge technology and utilize the period of lockdown in productive academic activity. At the onset, let me take the privilege to introduce the speaker today, Professor S.P. Singh, a renowned academician and a teacher of teachers and teacher to many participants here today, if I'm not wrong. He retired as a professor from Department of Library Information Science, University of Delhi, and is currently an emeritus professor of UGC. Starting her career from Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in 1977, she later joined Delhi University Library System and then Department of Library Information Science, University of Delhi in 1987. During her 30 years of service in the department, she headed the department twice and contributed immensely for the welfare of the students, particularly in case of revision of the syllabi, development of the state-of-art computer laboratories, website of the department, automation of department's library, and initiation of internship training programs. Her area of interest include reference sources and services, library management, knowledge organization classification, and research methods. She has guided 20 MPhil research scholars and 15 PhD research scholars. She has authored 5 books and published more than 70 research articles in national and international journals. She is on the editorial boards of renowned national and international journals, namely the Electronic Library by Emerald, the ASLIP Proceedings, Necessitating Journal of Library Information Technology, Journal of Knowledge Communication and Management, and Journal of Library and Information Science by University of Delhi. She has been a member of various important academic, professional, and administrative bodies of UGC, Social Science Documentation Center, and a number of universities. She holds honorary membership of Research Board of Advisors of the American Biographical Institute, North Carolina. Her biography has been included in Who's Who in India, Who's Who in the World, International Who's Who of the Professional Businesswoman Who's Who, 2000, Outstanding Women of the 20th Century, Who's Who in Asia, Asian American Who's Who in Asia Pacific, etc. She was awarded Satkal Best Women Librarian Award in 2007 and UGC awarded her with UGC Emeritus Professorship in 2015. She has widely traveled and participated in various national and international conferences. Today, Professor Singh would be speaking on skill and competency development among LIS professionals in electronic environment. Before I hand over the proceeding to Professor S.P. Singh, may I advise all the participants to fill the Google form, which would be shared during the webinar in the chat box. And if you have to ask any question to the speaker, please write it in the Q&A box, please. Over to Professor Singh, please.
Professor Preeti, for the so generous introduction and warm welcome. Thank you very much. Good evening, all the participants, LIS faculty of the department, Punjab University and other departments, LIS professionals, including school librarians, college librarians, university librarians, institutions, research scholars, and my dear young students. It's my profound privilege to be the speaker of this 14th webinar of department, which has been organized by the Department of Library Information Science under the patronage of Punjab University, Chandigarh. With the Punjab University or with the department always, and I have certain reasons to say so. Professor Preeti Mahajan is a very close friend of mine. We have a very long professional and personal association. So that is the first reason. Second reason is that the department, I regard it, and I regard this department as a very good department. During the tenure of my service, I have visited most of the library science department of India, but I feel this is an exceptional department in the sense that there is a wonderful environment in the department. Faculty members are having very good cooperation and coordination among themselves. And probably that is the reason that the first webinar was started on 24th of April. And today it is the 14th webinar. It is going on with the continuous efforts of the young faculty member of the department. They are working as the backbone of this program. And I congratulate Professor Preeti and the team for continuation and for maintaining the standard of the conference, for which Professor Preeti has been very particular in selecting the resource person. She will look at the profiles of the resource person. She will try to see where they are associated, what experience they have, what is their area of interest and exposure. Then only she invites the speakers. One more name I would like to add here is of Miss Neha Sethi. In fact, faculty members are supporting this activity, ongoing activity, invisibly. They are not visible, but Neha Sethi is a visible support, technical support, and I have attended around 70% of the webinars, and I always found her to be present to coordinate between the speaker and the technical program of taking care of the PPT. So Neha also deserves congratulations. I have been frequently visiting this department earlier, prior to this COVID period, and I always enjoyed my academic discussions with the faculty member over a cup of tea or coffee or lunch. And that is the thing which I am really missing. I'm missing my shopping, my, say, hugging and shaking the hands. Uh, but the webinar, I would say, it is a good outcome of this phase. Everything has some pluses and minuses. COVID has given us the culture of webinar, which has become a regular culture now. And most of the institutions, organizations, including libraries, they are holding regular webinars to educate their users how to make use of the library, how to handle this situation, how to behave the staff of the library in this pandemic situation. So from that angle, I would like to add that this is a good option. When we don't have something, we have to accept what comes to our share, and this is not a bad share. So with these words, I would like to proceed on to the article. I am going to speak on conflict. I'm going to speak on competency and skill development among the LIS professionals in electronic environment. In fact, this article has been written jointly by me and one of my research scholar. She has been working as an associate professor in one of the department of the university, and this was presented in a international conference which was published over there. I would like to proceed on to the exact content of my article. You know, ancient libraries, you can see the picture. There is a picture of ancient libraries, and you can find the first Buddhist department used to have this kind of scriptures, what we call manuscripts, and we used to store them in a saffron color cloth. So that was the phase. Now, next slide, you can see, next picture is showing you the transition where we are. I have not especially brought the picture here of books only because you all know that kind of library. I have turned over to the transition phase where you can see on one side the shelves are there, on another side this is electronic digital equipment where we are shifting from print to non-print material. Third library is now where a modern librarian is sitting with the computer, and the fourth is with showing robots. The time is not far off. Of course, in India we lag behind for in everything by decades and decades. but these things are already prevalent in foreign countries. A robot has been shown here, and the other day I was watching the TV where it was informed by them that this is a robot which can prepare 20 varieties of coffee. And I have read myself in certain books that robots are performing the job of maids. Opening the door, closing the door, boss is available, boss is not available. So that kind of things which are yet to come to India, but they are already in prevalence. Next, Neha. Next slide, please. This, in fact, you can see the traditional libraries, then present libraries. We are in the actually hybrid state. We are neither totally bookish library nor totally electronic library. We are in a combined stage where you can see the librarian sitting with the books and another side computers are left there. Third is modern library, where you need only one laptop and the password you should know, the key to open the computer. And you can roam around the world. You can visit any library of the world. You can visit, access any amount of literature or electronic resources. So this is a transition from traditional to modern. Next, Neha. In fact, contemporary libraries are in transition, which I had already shown you. And this has become essential for the professionals to acquire multitasking skills and competencies, not only for their sustenance, but their survival. Survival is becoming very, very difficult nowadays. So there is no way out. The only way is to adopt the newer technologies so as to keep ourselves up to date to survive. Next, Neha. Next slide, please. Yeah. I said you just a few minutes ago that usually terminology they have been used in overlapping manner, but they are absolutely different. If you see technically, if you see professionally, as a student, then these are very different. As a common man, they are same. And in the later part of my lecture, I'll be taking them in overlapping manner. When we say skill, it is a practical ability acquired through planned program, like our library science course. We are learning different kind of skills like how to classify a document. And that's the reason yesterday there was an article in the newspaper where Sri Ravi Shankar has given that has shown the importance of the librarian. And I was really very happy that a spiritual leader has talked about a librarian, where he says that they have a skill from there, they can dig up a book from the lakhs of books pinpointedly. So that is a skill. And what is that? Classification. You want to find out books by the author? That is again a skill, cataloging. You want to find out some specific information, maybe on this corona. Reference sources are there. So those are the skills which you learn in a planned manner. But when we say competency, it is inherent, it is hidden capability, which comes through self drive or interest, and it enables a person to handle difficult situation. That means this is inbuilt in a way. This is inherited. Like some may be very good, some children may be very good in music, some may be very good in dance, some may be very good in mathematics. So that kind of say competence they are already inheriting. That is hidden quality, which is usually seen when the need comes. So skill we learn, but competency we already have, which we are able to know where the need arises. For example, a carpenter, he through a planned program, he will know how to do different things under carpentry. But competency, we know how to dance, and little training for that will sharpen the skill. Business Dictionary has defined in a very nice way, and the words which have been used here, they are being used in a very carefully. It says skill is an ability, capacity, acquired by deliberate, intentional, not automatically. Competence is automatic, but it is deliberate, planned, systematic, And it's a complex of activities by providing cognitive skills, cognitive mental process, technical skills and interpersonal skills. Technical skills, I had already told you. Interpersonal skill, when we are in a group, we are classifying the documents. There are four students sitting. We learn by sharing with them, interpersonal skill. Competency refers to a cluster of abilities relating to excellence in a specific activity. It indicates adequacy of knowledge to act under different situations. So I think hopefully I must be able to clear the difference between those things. Competency automatically comes, but skills you have to acquire. Next, please, Neha. Next slide. So to be competent, one needs to focus on continuous learning. And it has been observed that the terms like fully skilled, semi and non-skills are in use, but not the terms like semi-competent and non-competent. Well, suppose I need a maid. Nowadays, we ourselves have become maids. In this, that is another gift of say this Corona period, that we have become at home also multitasker. Everybody has become, rather. My husband has also become. So when we go to, I'm talking about before Corona period, say non-skilled, semi-skilled, and fully skilled, they have different charges. There are agencies in Delhi which provide you maids. Highest charges are for the skilled, lowest are for the non-skilled. These are the terminology which are very much in use, but we never say competent, semi-competent, or non-competent, because that's not a planned training. In case of skill, it is a planned training. Neha, next. Now, let us talk about past and present environment, how this transition is having an all-round impact on us. Due to environmental changes, libraries are under continuous transition. There is no doubt. You had already seen in my second or third slide. In 1990s, when the Knowledge Society was emerging, Dr. APJ Kalam stated that he put an emphasis on sustainable development. It should sustain. So he said that we should be ready for the change. And he said, what worked yesterday won't work today. And what is working today will not work tomorrow. Why? Because of the change. He mentioned three reasons from a well-known book, Empires of the Mind, where he says, yesterday, natural resources were defined as the power. That was the power. Today, it's knowledge. Knowledge is power. If resources are lying somewhere unnoticed, they are of no use. So knowledge has become power, because the person should know what to dig out from where, what is available where. Then only things can be used. Next, he said that shareholders came first today. Now, first, yesterday in earlier period, shareholder were most important. But today, customers come first, creating a sensitivity to customers' need. The whole world is revolving around the customer. The market is revolving around the customers. Yesterday, leaders has total command and control. But today, we are talking about PPP, public-private partnership. That means public or command that they have now. And we are finding this change now in our this environment also. Next, Neha. Neha, next slide. Neha, next slide, please.
I'm not the major
Now, there are certain factors which are some major factors. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
There are certain factors which are responsible for all these change, and you are well aware of all these factors. ICT, that is playing its own role to change the total scenario of our living, of our moving, of our eating, of our say enjoying. They are shifting. Towards libraries are shifting towards online services to be more effective and efficient in satisfying their users. Most libraries have started acquiring either born digital form or they are converting their print material into digital, because they have their own advantage of space, accessibility, preservation, and whatnot. Ranganathan's fifth law is creating a lot of problem when we are having books and books and books all around. But here you can carry a whole of the Punjab University library in a purse. Preeti madam can carry in her purse the whole library. Networking and communication facilities have become cheaper, faster, and easier to be acquired and adopted. This is another reason why we are shifting from, say, traditional libraries to electronic libraries, because these things earlier were very costly, but now they are cheaper to acquire and adopt. As a result, libraries are looking beyond their walls to support their organizational objectives and fulfill their users' demand in a flexible manner. The way they want, we can provide them. Neha, next.
Yes, ma'am.
Next slide, please. There is a paradigm shift. Because of these factors, we can find that there is a shift. Traditional libraries are converting into hybrid libraries. Hybrid libraries are trying to get themselves converted into digital or virtual libraries. Ownership to access. Earlier we used to proud that our library is having 16 lakh documents. About Library of Congress, we were told in the class, oh, that is the biggest library of the world where the collection is running into 50 miles. But today, library access has become much more important than ownership, because ownership, one may have a lot of resources, but access is more important. I have been telling to my students in the class that there can be two librarians. One library is having a lot of books with him, but he is intellectually he's mediocre. But on the other side, there is a librarian who's having no collection at all, just one computer. So the usual response used to come, the person who is having excellent collection will be the better option. But no, the person who is having no collection but having only computer, because he knows what to access from where. So ownership, if you do not know what is available, so that doesn't of much help. So ownership of particularly of print material is has been overpowered by the access of electronic resources, because in any part of the world we can access any information, any library. From print to electronic resources, catalog, you see the transition has taken place from card catalog to opaque, and opaque to web opaques, where you can access of collection of any library. Earlier, the time usually used to have a fixed timeline, 9 to 5, 9 to 7. Bigger libraries used to have 9 to 9, like IIT Library, Delhi University Library. But now they have, because of electronic access all the time, it has become 24/7. Delivery system has been changed. Earlier, suppose some resources are to be sent from interlibrary loan or demand from one place to another place, postal service, then came fax, then came email. And now many libraries are providing these services. There is no need for postal or fax, sending notes directly through email or social media. Social used for wider dissemination. Standalone libraries are shifting towards network libraries because of their advantage. Network libraries means pooled resources. Consortium means pooled resources. You can utilize the resources of 100 libraries by becoming the member. So one means it's individual resources, but network consortium means multiplied by the number of libraries are there in consortium. I wanted to use these two terms, crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, just to talk about a little. Crowdsourcing, again, pooling of resources. Many, societies even, they are trying to pool their own literary material or the books available in their house, so as to develop a library within their society for their children. So that is called crowdsourcing. When we say crowdfunding, nowadays you must be getting messages on WhatsApp and even on TV also. Donate funds generously because of this Corona problem. We were donating, and such kind of collection is called crowd fund, which has been given by the crowd, means where no name is there, but the fund has been collected. It can be utilized for different purposes. Emergence of makers space. This is a collaborative learning space. It can be in the library or in the school or in the lab. That is another new concept which is coming up. Now, shift is there from noiseless to noisy areas. This is a demand in many bigger organizations that there should be some place where research scholars can sit, they can chat, they can have coffee, relax, and brainstorming session on some new areas. So earlier we used to put up placards, a silence zone, no noise. But now they say, let us talk, let us chat. So this is another shift. Next, Neha. Effect of COVID-19 pandemic. Sudden attack by COVID-19 has shown a clear effect on our personal, social life, and it has affected our schools, colleges, offices, libraries, every place. Although online culture was prevalent, as I told you, in corporate sector, but because of the say social, we are supposed to maintain social distancing. That's why schools, colleges are closed, and social distancing has to be maintained. That's why the online culture has taken a lead. Offices are also adopting work from home policy. Most of the libraries are physically closed for users, but they are serving them virtually. The other day, I heard a lecture by Dr. Nabi Hassan, who is librarian of IIT Library Delhi. It was a very practical lecture on about the working of the libraries in this corona phase. And I would request Professor Preeti to invite him sometime, because he has given a very good explanation how the books are to be returned in such a period, how the books are to be borrowed, how the staff has to behave, what precautions they need to take. So that has become that has created, corona period has created different kind of needs and requirement for the library to serve their user and to maintain themselves. Librarians are holding webinars just to educate their users. Staff is being trained to work in pandemic environment with safety. During this period, librarians are extending digital services to access service to users, and digital technology has been accelerated. It has been enhanced for information storage and retrieval. Most of the universities or bigger libraries, they are creating their own institutional repositories so that the research publication of their research scholars or faculty members can be retained over there. So most of the libraries are shifting towards this. Thus, COVID-19 has enhanced libraries to serve their users without visiting the libraries in new normal of social distancing. And managing libraries in this phase has become really challenge of the day. Next, Neha. Client relationship management. This is another concept which has emerged. This is a kind of relationship, one-to-one relationship between the reader, user, and the librarian. Because here, as I already explained earlier, that we are focusing on users now. We are becoming user-oriented now. Things are changing, and for our survival and sustenance, we have to say bring them on forefront rather than generalize them. And that's the reason that there is a need for learning new skills for content analysis. We have to provide them service in a personalized way, so what they need, and then develop the content in a structured way. Analysis is one area. You know their subject areas, and you start functioning on them. You know what periodicals they use. You will cull out the information of their interest and then develop them in a cohesive manner, in a structured manner. Digital archiving, you know about it. Flexible work pattern, time pattern has been sometimes it has been seen in bigger academic libraries like IITs or IIMs that the work pattern needs to be changed on demand of their users. Night 4 o'clock, we want to have the open library. That is customer relationship, because we are for them. They are not for us. We are earning our bread and butter because of the users. So users are our God. Ranganathan used to say we should look at them as as if they are our God, because we stand because of them. Outsourcing for some services, some help can be taken. Help is being taken out. Marketing and promotion. This is not a new concept, but this is another concept which is being adopted. Now, in addition to these, there are some environmental factors which are also say wanting that new skills should be developed and developed to manage the changes which are occurring in our environment. Neha, next slide, please. Now, environmental changes means the changes which are coming on account of environment. Neha, the slide is incomplete. Yeah, these are of two types: internal factors and external factors. Now we need to handle both. When we talk about internal factor, here given on the top is problem or weaknesses in the library. We may have different types of problem and we have to handle those problems. It may be about collection, it may be about offering the services, it may be about management, it may be about the, say, behavior of the users or the library professionals. So that needs to be handled skillfully. Strengthen which leads professional to consolidate or build for their future success. These are every organization has some strengths which needs to be pulled up, which can be used in future. Those are the internal plus and minus point. We talk about the external environment, it is political development, social, economic, and technological development. These are other factors which are also affecting our skill learning. Political development, whenever the government changes, political scenario gets changed. And we have an impact on our libraries also, maybe collection development or giving services or what. Now, you know that Mr. Modi has, started so many, yojanas. And that yojanas are coming to, in the form of literature. And we have to, government offices, they need to retain that kind of literature in a systematic manner. Economic development, economies goes up and down. And educational institutions which are getting their money from, say, government agencies, we have to see how to sell when the money is less. And hardly we are in a position to get a superfluous fund. We are always face financial crunches. So how to manage the things, that kind of a skill we have to learn, buy or borrow. We have to, the books which are duplicate, the books which are less demand, the books which are having multi copies are to be managed in a way so that our funds can be managed. Social development, we see social development. I was just remembering in the morning there was a time when, I belong to a village, although I didn't born and brought up there, but my roots are in the village. There used to be chulhas, then came angitis, burade ki angiti or koile ki angiti. Then came stoves. After stoves came gas. And then came your, say, microwave and inductions. What is this? This is social change. And we are also changing according to this change. So this social development is also affecting libraries. We used to have, say, books on manuscripts, written material on manuscript. Then came the book. Then came the CDs, floppies, Kindle, and whatnot. So we have to be sail with the change and we have to adopt them. Technological development, I don't feel any need to explain because you know that has changed the total scenario. I would like to say the beautiful definition given by Ina Foray says that there will always be change in the environment. You know, we we may hate the change, but change is the only thing which is, say, permanent. There is a quotation, nothing is permanent. It is only change which is permanent. So it says there will be always a change in the environment, and these changes will affect the librarians. Their roles, job opportunities, motivation, and even survival will be affected. Librarians, therefore, need to find a solution to timely repositioning and role claiming. That means we have to change with the time, otherwise time is going to reject us. If we don't, say, library is fully automated, we don't want to work in that, learn anything at par with that, that means we are unsuitable for that place. Next, Neha. So we have to change. Factors, these are the factors which have been given for the skill and development, skill and competency development. Too fast development, already talked about. Frequent emergence of new formats, I did tell. We have to, our machines becomes out of date. With the change of technology, when new formats come, we have to change our technology also, tools also. Information overload and its handling. Information overload, it's a serious matter. Internet, you all know, we want to find out Apple, it will give Apple as a food also, it will give Apple you as a Macintosh also, it will give you Apple as a your mobile also and computer also. So information overload, and the librarians have to handle this overload by learning the search strategies of different types so that they can provide information pinpointedly to their users without waste of their time. Highly specialized and multidimensional needs of user. We must know nowadays they are very smart. They have become much smarter. Gone are the days when we were able to satisfy our users without even serving anything. But now, no, we have to be at par in 1:1 ratio. They will come to your library only if you are able to satisfy them. So we have to understand their multidimensional needs and we have to handle them. Shrinking budgets and rising cost of material. You all are facing convergence of users' interest in e-resources and digital services. That is necessitating this change that we should learn a skill because users are shifting from books to e-resources or digital resources. Shift in service orientation. This is, I would like to talk a little. The service orientation is also changing. Just in case to just in time to just for you. These are different, tags. Just in case means user comes to you and he says, I need a book by Ranganathan on library management. By the way, that book is not available for you. And you say that, sir, this book is not available with our library, but a book written by Krishan Kumar is there on library management. So that was a position just in case. User may take, user may not take. Usually, when they have a rigid mindset, no, I want to have this, so I would like to have this only. To just in time. Just in time means the user may request you that I need this a book and you place an order and the books comes to the library. That is just in time. The user wanted to have for a webinar, for a seminar, for a conference. He has to present a topic over there. So he wanted that particular book and the library acquires just in time and gives it to him. Just for you means we are talking in a proactive manner. Before the demand has risen up, the preparation has been done. You know, you will recall that we used to talk in the class about selective dissemination of information, where we used to have document profile and users profile. User profile is always gives an information about the subject area of the user. And when we know the user area, so we prepare ourselves. Whenever a related literature comes to the library in form of book or in form of an article, we collect that and send it to through email or by a personal sender that this is for you. So just for you means we are in anticipation, proactively working to get information for them. That also requires skills. Increasing demand for accountability. You must be witnessing this thing that need for accountability is increasing, and in the government offices particularly, you know, we are witnessing this thing through newspaper. We know coming across some such things. Accountability means what you should do, are you able to do or not? Otherwise, they are removing the staff, particularly in the private organization. Accountability has become a big issue with that we have seen in the when the initial stage ministry was distributed by Modi ji to different departments. And they many times the anchor used to tell, or even in the newspaper, that ministers are working 18 hours a day, and it has become really very difficult to work because Modi works for 18 hours, and that was a question of accountability. If the person is not working to the expectation, shunting. That is the private organization's business also. They put the person on the bench that they call in their culture bench. Bench means they ask him to wait or given pink slip. Pink slip means they will provide him 2 months, 3 months salary and they will goodbye. They will say goodbye because they are not able to perform the way they should have been. So that is accountability. Next slide, Neha. Types of competencies. There are 3 types of competencies: personal, professional, and core competencies. I will take up in detail in the next slides. Personal competencies means that should be available with everyone. Good communication, clarity in communication. I mean, good communicator is one who is able to convey what he or she wants to convey. Otherwise, many times it happens somebody is talking to you, after some time we will say, अरे भाई point पे आओ ना, ठीक से बताओ तुम कहना क्या चाह रहे हो. वो Three Idiots, if you can remember, the professor was insisting to cram the definition of machine, and that Amir Khan, he started speaking in his own language, then he said no, but when he started ratified definition, then he said, कहना क्या चाहते हो. So communication means clarity of thought, clarity of expression, and cohesion when you are talking. Next is focus on continuous learning. That is really required to integrate the new tools and techniques. Open to change. One should be flexible because opportunities and challenges always come. But you should be, those changes should be acceptable to you, or you should be adaptable to them. Committed to service excellence. I have a feeling wherever you work, give your 100%. Then only you will able to create your place, whether it is teaching or is it librarianship or it is medicine or whatever it is. Value for ethics, to treat others with honesty, respect, and fairness. Value for ethics. We should have ethics. We should value others also. We should be flexible and positive in changing environment. Now this environment is COVID environment. We are say cribbing, we are sitting at home, but the positive aspect is that we are able to enjoy the life which we could not, togetherness with the family. Capability to demonstrate value addition in services. One should be able to demonstrate what is required by the reader. If he needs something and you are able to, you should know what exactly he wants, and you should be able to provide what exactly he wants. That is value addition. You are going to add something from your own side also. Ability to create environment of mutual respect. This is the best thing. This is something very good. When we are in a hospitable environment, as I told you about the department, Library Science, Punjab University, they have such a good environment. That's why they are acting as a team, and they can really take department much ahead because of the energetic, say, professionals who are there. Next, that's a team actually. Professional competencies means adequate subject knowledge of parent organization. This is essential. Professional means when we are talking about, it can be, say, when we talk about medical library or a engineering library, means we are working in a professional library that needs a special kind of skills. For engineering library, you should have adequate subject knowledge of parent organization and what projects are going on, who are the clientele, what kind of requirement they have. Expert knowledge of best resources. You can serve your users if you have good knowledge of best resources, their contents, and critical ability to evaluate and filter the best suitable information. In BLIC level, we tell our students evaluation of reference sources, where they come through various checkpoints like authority, scope, arrangement, treatment, just to filter out what is the best, what is most authentic, what is most suitable from access point of view, suitability. So you should be expert to evaluate the authentic resources. Nowadays, there's an era of fake news, fake resources. So you must be able to distribute between what is real, authentic, and what is fake. These are the professional competencies. Providing online assistance to your, users, desktop troubleshooting service. Use of appropriate technology to acquire, organize, and disseminate the information. That's professional knowledge. Accessing information needs developing cost-effective services or value-added services by conducting regular interviews or feedback system. In case of special libraries, you need to know what you are giving is that worth or not, and for that you have to have a feedback, maybe by interviews, maybe by survey or feedback pro forma you have provided. So in that case, once you had given a service, try to find out was it suitable or not. If not, then try to improve upon and try to get feedback again. Survival, for your survival, people recognize you when you give them service. There may be 5 people working in a library, 2 are giving very good service because they are concerned about their user. And this is a concern to know what they need, and you are trying to give your best input by learning from their feedback. Continuous improvement in the service, that is only possible through feedback. Be an effective member of senior management team. If you are a good worker, hard worker, sincere worker, ethical worker, naturally you will earn your place. You will be able to, you have to earn it. You don't get it, you have to earn it. You get a say recognition in your organization, and people do recognize uh, of your say hard work. Next, Neha. Special SLA, Special Libraries Association, this is the most important body of US of special librarians. They have focused major areas in four. For a professional librarian, now, who is a professional librarian who is able to manage information organization, who is able to manage information resources, managing information service, ability to apply information tools and techniques. ये चारों में समा गया है what actually the competencies of professional competencies. Next, Neha. Because of the time, I am running little fast. Core competencies are related with the core. Let me try to tell you what do we mean by core. Core means a narrow, highly specialized area like heart. Heart is the most important organ of our body, or nucleus. Nucleus is the most important part of the cell on which everything revolves around. So core competencies relates to a particular subject, maybe medicine, maybe law. Types of libraries. When we talk about Braille libraries, we have to have different kind of core competencies for serving the Braille. It relates to a specialized narrow subject. Subject may be or botany, zoology. Users, like I had already told you, it can be say doctors, it can be engineers. American Association of Law Libraries has given certain, they have documented certain core competencies, and the core competencies, they are just focusing on strong commitment to excel customer services, understand the use of techniques like digital imaging, recording, and creating reproductions of primary source material, exhibit leadership skills, including critical thinking, display excellent communication. This is common everywhere. Until we able to understand what our user is demanding, we are able to communicate what he actually expecting from us, we will not be able to fulfill these core competencies. Be familiar with publishing trends, communicate effectively with publisher and other information providers to advance the interest of the library. This is important. We should, in fact, we become a publisher also when we work in a library. Next, Neha. So far, we were talking about the competencies, but now these are skills. And these are of three types: generic, managerial, technological. Let us come on to the next slide, Neha. Generic. These are the common skills we all have, which you all should have, which you already may be having, like communication skill. मैंने बोला था पहले कि there will be so many qualities which will be overlapping, and skill within the skill and competence also. Flexibility, adaptability, problem solving, service attitude. We should have service attitude. This is important. Ranganathan's tagline has been, "May I help you?" May I help you was a tagline just to library science is a service oriented profession. We are there, we survive because we are able to help them, or we must have as an attitude, help attitude. I will quote just a small incident. Ranganathan was working in a British library, and he had a very sallow, weak and frail body, not a very impressive personality. The Britisher enters in the library in the evening. Ranganathan says, "Good evening, sir." He doesn't look at him because they have superiority complex for themselves. Ranganathan, as I told you, they should have many attributes. Librarian should have, he should be a good psychologist, he should be a good communicator, he should be a good observer. He was keeping an eye on his user. The user had gone from one shelf to another shelf to another shelf, and he could notice that he could not get his material. Ranganathan went to him and he says, "Sir, may I help you?" "Oh, no, no, I'll do my work, you go." Ranganathan comes back and sits on seat. But he didn't leave at this point. The man started looking at his watch, and when he was looking at his watch, he realized Ranganathan went to him again that, sir, I think you are in a hurry. If you tell me what exactly you need, probably I can help you out. You can see if you like, fine. If you don't like, leave that. You just tell me what you need. Then he said, I have to attend a keynote address. My train is at 7 o'clock and I have to leave this place by 6:30. So I am looking for beverages. Ranganathan went to the shelf and picks out an encyclopedia shown. And then that man looks at Ranganathan with wide eyes open, and he could realize the importance of the black, weak, and say shrill man. And that changed the mindset of the Britisher with high nose and high eyes. From next day, he started saying, "Good morning, Dr. Ranganathan." That was the mindset. Mindset. Why? Because he could provide him service at the time of his need. Working with difficult people, this is also really, working with easy people is not a problem, but working with difficult people is really very difficult, and I had an opportunity to for that. But learning comes from by working with difficult people. Easy people, you do the job or don't do the job, because they also don't believe in working, so the others who are working under him, they enjoy the life, like government offices. So difficult people makes you learn a lot. I'll just quote a simple instance again. About my PhD research scholar, he was an excellent person. I dedicate my writing skills to him now. He's no more. But, I used to give my very neat and clean draft whenever I used to submit a chapter to him. But when I used to get it back, it used to be read. And I used to crib like anything that I had given such a beautiful chapter, but it has become red. And now I realize the importance of that how much I learned from him. Just two sentences. You write two times, roko mat jane do. And put a comma after roko. Roko mat jane do. Mean don't stop. Roko usko. Jane mat do. और कॉमा रोको मत के बाद लगाओ, रोको मत जाने दो. That means don't stop him, let him go. So you can understand the importance of a small symbol of comma putting in the first sentence after roko, in the next sentence after roko mat. But it has changed the meaning to the contrast level. So this is working with difficult people, you really learn a lot. Continuous learning, the regular learning, it's a generic skill. Creativity and innovation should be the mindset that is required for our survival. If we don't create something new, stagnation comes very soon. Next, Neha. Now I'll be talking about the managerial skills. These are of 10 types. I will not go in much detail because they are interrelated. The manager should be the bundle of all these, say, skills. Planning and organizational skills. You have to plan. You have to plan. When you suppose you are supposed to do something, just a minute. When managerial skills, when you are supposed to do something, a good manager is one who will plan and organize things in a proper manner. Planning means a project has come to the organization, you divide into a 5 weeks or 5 months program, and you decide what work has to be done in the first month, second month, third month, fourth month. That is managerial skill. Financial management skills, you have to say justify how the funds are to be allocated for different activities. If you don't allocate them, you are going to say fall in a soup. You should allocate money according to the requirement and according to the costing factor which you have to see in advance. Team building is another skill of a manager. You have to build up a team according to their competence, according to the skills they have. You must build up a cohesive team which are having similar kind of skills. For one work, one kind of a team; for another work, a person having other type of skills. Decision making skills, this is very important. You should never be in a say a dilemma. You should be able to have a firm decision, and depending on certain points, certain logic, then only you can say take the decision. You have to be logical in your decision making, why you have taken this decision. Leadership skills, the skills which say makes you to lead the people, and for that you have to show your skills. You have to show your own skills of leadership. You have to command. You have to be role model. Negotiation skills come when you are dealing with the publisher or with the vendors. You are working for your organization. You should always try to say negotiate in such a way that your organization gets advantage of that. People management skills, these are again different kind of skills. When you are talking about say people, means an organization may have different types of people, and some people may be very difficult, some people may be easygoing, but some may be very difficult people. So the problem is not with those people who are easygoing. The people comes with the difficult people. uh, Managing the difficult people is a really difficult task. Stress management, people are always, all the people are under stress. Nowadays we see they are under stress, they are not able to meet friends. As I am saying that we are not able to visit Chandigarh University, that's not a stress, but little I mean unhappiness on my part. So stress, different kind of stress one may have, and this is a managerial skill how to resolve those stress. Personal stress can be by yoga, by meditation, by say relaxing, by taking a cup of tea. But when it comes to the team, you have to sit with them, you have to listen to them. Patient listening diffuses the stress. Time management skill has been covered under the first already, that you have to manage things within the time. Resource management skills, resource can be of different types, and you have to see how variety of it can be. Human resource, it can be financial resource, it can be your collection resource. So how to manage those kind, every variety of resources the manager has to know. Next, Neha. Technological skills, you know well. Hardware, software, library automation, electronic resource management, already covered in my earlier part. Database creation, search skills, networking skill, inter and intranet skill, content development skill, scanning and digitization skills, desktop publishing, virtual learning skills, emailing, PPT. These are the technological skills which are related with the technology. And for working in even in hybrid library, you are supposed to know all those skills depending upon the requirement of your job at the desk. Next, please. New role of librarian. Now the librarian is supposed to be, he has already become multitasker or multifaceted personality. So he is not supposed to act as a information manager or knowledge manager. He has to act as an innovator, IT manager, team leader. These are the new names which have been used in the literature. I just wanted to bring them at one place. Network manager, negotiator, educator and trainer, publisher, as an intermediary, aggregator, a legal advisor, and whatnot. Nowadays, even thesis, the research work is coming to the rescue of libraries. They are supposed to see the run a software like Turnit or e-authenticate, etc., to find out how much literature has been genuine, how much has been copied, it has not been the credit has been given to the author. That is essential, that the credit should be given to the author concerned. So that is the thing, that this is very important, that they should, the credit to a person should be given who has created the work, and that person should be given the credit. Next. Skills at paraprofessional level. This is important area which I wanted to talk. we have been organizing conferences. They are attending. Say, professional people are attending different kinds of training program, conferences, webinars, and say refreshers courses, etc. But paraprofessional staff, which is at subordinate level, they are not getting the kind of exposure they should get. This is my personal opinion. In fact, it has been observed that uh, uh, most of the times they are working on the front desk and they are more in number. Users come in direct contact of the users because they are easily accessible. So it becomes increasingly important to train them with different types of skills, which will not be only help them to work more efficiently, but raise their morale and improve their image of the library. They are working at the subordinate level, but they are sits on the front desk, and this is my feeling that they are the people who are able to create the impression of the library to a great extent. I remember one instance. In fact, I worked in the Delhi University Library for 10 years. There, on the security, say, desk, the people who were semi-literate, they used to sit. And once there was a professor of Arabic and Persian, he enters into the library, and that the person who was in security, he asked him, "Sir, may I see your I card?" That man became so furious. "My I card? I'm a regular visitor to the library. Why do you want to see my I card? Who's asked you to see my card?" That person got scared. Anyways, he kept on shouting. There was a humbug. There was a fight kind of a thing, and students from within the library, they came and they made a crowd over there. The matter reached to the librarian. He used to sit on the first floor. He came running ground floor. And then he could pacify that professor. He took it to him his room. He scolded that security man because he was his own man. So he can scold him. But the professor was taken on the first floor and he sat over a cup of coffee. He listened to him patiently, tried to pacify him, cool down him. And that man was, of course, cooled down. But later on, what he did? A good leadership. We were the 4 or 5 young professionals who who joined the library during that phase only. He called all the 5 of us. We were professional assistant at that time. I'm talking about 70s. He called us and he said, "This is the bad event which has taken place in the library. Can you suggest some way out?" He usually, he had more confidence in me than he asked by name. "Shashi, can you tell me what should be done?" I said, "Sir, you please tell what exactly you want us to do rather than asking us that what we should do." He said, "The image of libraries, this is not the first instance. It has happened earlier also. A blind scholar came and the same thing happened with him also, and he also get furious." And he said, "Sir, tell us the solution." He said, "I want that you are professional assistant. Of course, you are not supposed to sit on the exit gate, but for some time, you please sit turn by turn for 1 hour." And we said, "Fine, sir, no problem. Naukri hai to nakhre kahe ke?" We started sitting and the situation was changed, and then he also changed the staff from there. Some people who were qualified, not to the professional level, but they were asked to sit over there, and situation was improved. So that way I said that the paraprofessional staff, they should be well trained and they should be given some such opportunity to sharpen their skills. Next, Neha. Team leadership, I will not explain because I think I had a lot of time. I will talk about just 3 sentences. That is the quality of the leader. Coming together, that will be a good beginning. If you are a good leader, if his team leadership demands that he can bring the people together, that is the first stage. If they can be retained, keeping together will lead to the progress. If he is able to keep them cohesive, ikhatta, so that is a progress. As you can see in this department, working together will result into learning by all. Working together naturally. If you are working together, if you are, say, free and frank, if you are cohesive, if you really want to learn, that will lead to success. So, conclusion, change to the time. If you don't change with the time, time is going to reject you. So be with the time, update your skill, sharpen your skill, learn new things, and sail with the time. This is my last slide. The world hates change, yet change is the only thing that can bring progress. So we have to change. There is no way out. There is only way. We must try to keep ourselves up to date. Thank you for your patience hearing. I would like to extend my very, very sincere thanks to all the participants who gave an opportunity to me to listen. And I would like to express my sincere thanks to Professor Preeti and the authorities of Punjab University for giving me a chance to meet on webinar to my. I am sure there must be some of my students and assistant scholars for whom I have a very special place in my heart. I am not able to meet them. I miss them. I miss only on WhatsApp. I meet them only on WhatsApp or online. So thank you so much. Keep happy, keep healthy, be safe, and contribute for the department for which you are working. That should be your goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Singh, for highlighting the necessity of the skills and competency development. It is, in fact, never too late to learn. It is a lifelong process. And in fact, what is more important today is, as they say, learn, learn, and relearn. And as you just said, you must be open to change. So, with these words, I would now request Neha to take up the questions and answers, please. Neha?
Questions are welcome if there are. I tried to finish my talk in an hour. I don't know.
Perfect, Professor Singh.
I will take up the questions.
May I just a minute? May I inform you, ma'am, that in the chat box I was looking at highly, 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 highly. I don't know how many highlies and informative talk.
I'm not able to listen anybody.
And somebody has saluted you.
I'm not able to listen.
You're not able to. Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Ma'am, are you able to hear us?
Can you hear me?
Ma'am, remove your headphones if you're not able to hear us.
I'm not able to listen to you. Could I pick? क्या बता दूं? हाँ लगाए हुए हटा दूं? हाँ
Can you hear us now?
हाँ अब आ रही है.
हाँ.
मेरा सुनाई दिया आपको?
हाँ जी.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
हाँ जी. Now, Neha.
Ma'am, should I take up the questions now?
Yeah.
No voice.
Ma'am, I can hear you. Are you able to hear us? Ma'am, she's calling you again if I'm not wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही नेहा की. She will be raising the questions, ना?
Yes.
अच्छा, she has not yet started.
मैम, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? अभी बताइए.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है उसके. मुझे लिप्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं मोशन में.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है. आप हेडफोन्स निकाल दीजिए अपने फोन में से ही निकाल दीजिए.
नहीं, ईयरफोन से सुनाई दे रहा है नेहा. नाउ आई एम एबल टू लिसन यू विद ईयरफोन्स.
Okay.
अब सुन रहा है.
Okay, ma'am. So should I take up the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ma'am, the first question that I'm taking up is from Sanmati Jain. Library skills are different and user information needs are different. How to map our library skills to the information needs of the user?
You know, information needs of users keep on changing. But as a perfect librarian, you should try to acquire new skills which are upcoming skills related with the technology, how to handle the tools and technologies, different varieties which are coming up, because information needs will keep on changing and they don't have any say line for that.
Thank you, ma'am, for the answer. The second question that I'm taking up is from Rajiv Ranjan Mishra. How to make cost effectiveness in professional competencies?
Cost effectiveness can be in services, not in professional efficiency.
That is what he's written. How to make cost
No,
effectiveness in professional. Okay.
cost effectiveness can be in services.
Then
It
one
cannot
person,
be in efficiency.
Mr.
Yes.
Rajveer Bhosle, that rural area students help for study as a librarian this COVID-19 time. What I could understand or interpret from the question is that he wants to know that as a librarian, how can they help rural area students during the COVID-19 time? It's not clear, but this is what my interpretation is. Hope it's correct.
I think your interpretation is okay. This phase is asking for maintaining the social distancing. So that was the reason I will request in person to Professor Preeti Mahajan to organize a webinar by Dr. Nabi Hassan, who has given the how to say educate the users. In rural areas they don't have collection, they don't have services, and in this period it's not feasible for say the libraries to go and visit them because it prohibits personal meetings. But if suppose you want to go, you can make use of these say protective devices, and then you can talk on mobile or telephone or online. That can be the only way, because otherwise this is not desirable at this time.
Professor Singh, we have already requested him and he has agreed for 26th of this month. He would be delivering a webinar on 26th. And I may also inform you that Professor Daljit Singh has also joined us from Malaysia today. He would be our speaker on 12th. Professor Jagtar Singh, Professor Joshi, they have already delivered the webinars. They are also here with us today. And in fact, you
Very good.
SLA, and from SLA, we have Dr. Jan also. So I
Very good.
all of them also in the webinar.
My very special thanks to them. And it's good, Professor Preeti, you told me at the end, in the beginning, had you told me, I have become much more conscious. Because of the technology, I was facing the problem. I could have become much more conscious. Thank you for this late information. I thank you them all. Sincere thanks to everybody.
Informative sessions, excellent sessions, messages. There are also, I would read one of the messages that you are a perennial source of inspiration, vital engine of optimism, which give us hope to excel. I embrace you with all my heart, prayers, and much love. That is Ahmad has written.
I too embrace with heart and hands from distance. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I don't find any other questions that need to be answered as of now. More or less, it's a self-explanatory presentation. That is what many people have written. They have asked for repeatedly the presentation, but we will be sharing the YouTube link later on, and we have a channel on the name of DLIS. This recorded version will be put up over there. I would request now Rupak sir to explain about the certificates, because many people are asking also about the certificates.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha. Dear participants, you might have enjoyed the, you can say, engrossing and motivational and thought-provoking talk delivered by respected SPC madam. Now I'm going to share information about the certificates. Today we will be releasing 100 certificates, and I would be sharing link to the drive through which you will be able to download all the certificates. Therefore, it is essential that you fill the feedback form. Once you fill the feedback form, you will be receiving certificates, because there are around 400 participants. So the certificates will be released in phases. So today's lot will consist of 100 certificates. So kindly fill the form, and I will share with you the link to the drive through which you will be able to directly download the certificates. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request Dr. Shiv Kumar to give his vote of thanks to Professor Singh, who had given such an informative talk today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Neha. It is a privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. on behalf of the Department of Library Information Science, I extend my sincere gratitude to Professor Singh for accepting our invitation to deliver such a wonderful talk. Your talk was very informative, very wonderful, or you have explained beautifully difference between skill and competence. You have explained very elaborate way. We have to change along with technological changes, social, political, and economical changes. Otherwise, we will be face the music. To be with change, then we can survive. Survival is the fittest. To survive, we have to acquire competencies, skills. One important thing is that ma'am mentioned that skills for professional. This is very important because most of the user approach para professionals because that is easy access. They talk them, so it is for the image of the library. So we have to pay attention for their professional development. We should give opportunity them to attend some professional events, some program, training, etc. Or we can train them at their own library. How to deal with the user, or you have explained that user our code for the librarians. User with important. Without user, the library cannot survive. Or now, thank you very much, ma'am, for your informative talk. Or we are thankful to various prominent teacher and professional, Professor Jagtar, Professor Manoj Joshi, and Daljit. They have joined this seminar. We are very much thankful to them. I am hopeful that all participants have learned a lot from this lecture. This lecture was very informative. I also thank Punjab University Authority to allow us to organize this webinar series. I also thank all participants for joining us. My thanks also goes to faculty, research scholar, students for their constant support. Thank you all. We will be meeting again on 9th. Till then, stay home, stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shiv, and all of my colleagues for your constant support. I also thank all the participants, and of course, I'm going to the reverse way round, starting from Professor Singh and ending also with Professor S.P. Singh. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for giving us such a highly informative talk, which has been appreciated by, I think, almost all the participants, and they are totally gone crazy, I think, with the comments they have given in the chat boxes. Star, and one of the comment I read was salute to Professor S.P. Singh. So I also salute you, ma'am, for your academic this thing, like whatever you have given us, all the inputs and all that. So thank you once again. And thank you everyone for being with us here today.
Thank you, Professor Preeti. I don't have callers to make them up, but I'm really feeling very happy.
Don't
It is giving a little feeling that I could wait.
So,
thanks again, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.